Right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our PDI round 3. I'm delighted to welcome Gill, who's just getting herself ready at the back as our judge this evening. So Gill Adams is our judge. A warm welcome to Gill this evening. Welcome. We have the heating is warming up. We'll understand that by the time we get to the end of the night, you will be roasting, I think. So I'm not too sure why it's so cold at the moment anyway. But just a few quick things before we begin this evening. Next week is the final print competition. So those that are needing to get their printing done, then I would suggest you get that done rather quickly. Digital hand in next week. And then the week after is the actual competition itself. So if you're not here for next week or for the week after, just you can talk to any member of the committee or anybody here who can help you out with your prints. And that will be a way of being able to hand them in advance if you need to. So don't struggle. If you're not going to be here on the night for the actual print competition, we can help you with that. So please don't worry at all. We've got Sarah Kelman here next week, wildlife photographer. We saw some of her images last week from the EAF, some award-winning images. So I think that promises to be a great night. She will be here presenting next week. Di, did you have some new member updates as well?
What is Martha?
No, he's gone already. That was a quick. Well, there we go. Damla. There we are. Welcome. Welcome. Arnold. You said you were Arnold, yeah? You said.
Arnold, can you stand up a minute, please? Arnold was a member back in the 60s. And we're trying to entice him back. So, welcome. So, is there anything else I've not mentioned that's a new member?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Published photographer, apparently.
Independent.
I found it today.
Excellent. Well done. Good stuff. There we go. Well done.
And I haven't stopped talking about it.
There we go.
Anyway, welcome to all my new members, and I hope you're evening. And can I just ask the committee members to stand up, please, so that if any of our members have got any problems, what kind of committee members? And they're all very knowledgeable, highly experienced. So if you've got any questions at all, please do. That's it. I'm done.
And teas and coffees, Di?
Oh, teas and coffees, please sign up. There's a board over there in the break. I'll move the books over there. Let's try and get it filled up so that we're not flying around like a mad thing. Starting because I'll soon be chatting to new members with it. So if you could.
Thank you, John. Just John was hinting earlier, what we've been doing is working our way through the members who are profiling some of their images, and I believe John has been featured in Independent.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, apparently.
So yes, over the Christmas period, so which is fantastic. So we keep the kind of publicity going. If anybody would like to be showcased in the Independent, then please let us know. I try to reach around every month and try and pick a new member. Yeah, maybe.
Sorry.
So, but if anybody would like to also showcase some of the images, they'll let us know as well. But what we will do is we tend to mix between photography profiles and also images that have been winning through competitions as well. So everybody got a chance. You make sure the independent newspaper in the town publishes beginners pictures as well as the open section as well. We want everybody to have an opportunity to have some of their work published as well. It's really important because I think, and still looking at the EAF last week, I'm so pleased about the quality images in the club. And it was so enjoyable actually last week to see this sort of East Anglian images, to think actually some of our images are really, really good and they featured in there as well, which was so delighted. So with no further ado, I think, Peter, we've got over 70 images tonight. So 74 in total. Thank you. Okay, we've got members on Zoom as well, so we've moved the microphone as well, so hopefully you'll get a better sound experience. But I'll hand over to Peter.
This is the microphone.
That's it. Yeah, you don't need to be too close, but
Okay,
yeah.
I won't slurp into it.
No, that's it. All right, thanks, Jill.
Hi, welcome, Jill. Okay, all right, lovely to see you all again. Yeah, I'm gradually warming up. Yeah, guys, I've forgotten this pool's cold when you come in, and we've got a cold night, haven't we? So Yeah, a bit of a double trouble there, isn't it?
All right, we'll kick off with
I'm going to just run through them
the beginners. Yeah.
if I ask nicely. Right. Ah. Mm. Is that a little bit soft? Is it just my eyes?
Focus it. Best it can focus.
One or two, I just thought a little bit on the soft side.
That's quite sharp.
Yeah. No, it's just me then. Okay, done. Right. Okay, there is well, quite a variety in this one. So,
Yes. One called nuthatch.
right. I didn't know that for change, actually. Yeah, some birds are recognised, but yeah, they're very small, aren't they? You don't, yeah, you don't sort of see them unless they're up trees. Anyway, yeah, I'll probably say the same thing quite a lot this evening, so excuse me if I get repetitive. Yep, captured pretty well, isn't it? And that's what they do, isn't it? They're quite amazing birds, like they sort of bend, don't they, as they climb down trees, which, you know, if we did that, we'd fall over, but there you go. Yep, so captured well, got the all important catch light in the eye, gives it that extra bit of life here. Yeah, and I like the fact you've included the berries. Okay, they're a little bit soft, but it fills up a space. I think, you know, when you look at the background, some sort of slightly whitish patches there, so it does fill that space here, and adds a bit of colour to the whole thing as well. Contrasts quite well with the blue of the bird. Yeah, the trunk again, it's slightly soft, I think, but again, it gives you information about what the bird sort of lives on, and you know, in itself, it's a textural thing, isn't it? There's lots of textures in that, and so there's a subject here as well. So yeah, that works rather well. And I think again, he's sort of in the middle third, and I like the way he's sort of looking at you almost. I think that works as well. Possibly you could crop a little bit of the left-hand side. Say there's sort of areas are getting a bit light at the back, and there's a sort of blue bit at the bottom. So if you crop them, you lose a bit of berries. But I think, you know, you'd sort of, your eye would be more focused on the nuthatch there, which I think is rather lovely. I've got to score out of 20, so I could get my brain in thought here. So we're going to go 16 on this one. Yep.
Dragonfly in the green.
Dragonfly and so in the green. Yeah.
I think it's small.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it.
right.
I think this came across as a very small one.
Right. Okay.
So it's,
Yeah. Again, I'm a bit hopeful. The damselflies are the bright ones, aren't they? And the dragonflies aren't. But again, it's been captured well. I mean, you know, they are big, but you know, it depends where you are. And I guess they don't. You know, if you're lucky, they hang about. Otherwise, they just tend to fly. Just as you've got the shutter, they go, "I'm off." And you don't get them. So, you know, you sort of captured it well. And quite the fact you've got two diagonals here of the vegetation, of want of a better word, and the dragonfly itself. And it, you know, it forms a sort of pleasing sort of triangle, doesn't it, here? Backgrounds, again, can be sort of fussy and annoying, but I think you've got this one pretty out of focus. So, you know, be able to sort of see detail on the dragonfly and the vegetation itself. So I think, yeah, that works quite well. And you've got enough sort of at the top and the bottom for it to sort of move into, which is a bit of a cliche, but it does work quite well. We're going to go a 14 on that one, please. Now that's a rose.
send side up.
Right, I think that's a rose. It's a rose, yeah. And rose ones, the pictures here, they're sort of flowers that you can. They have sort of, you know, they have a beautiful stage, don't they? They're very pristine, and they have this lovely sort of stage where they're just fading slightly, but they've still got this sort of beauty about them that comes across here. And here, I think the lighting you've got, I don't know if it's indoors or something like that, but if it is, it's been handled well. and not too many harsh shadows or anything like that. Just some soft shadows around the edge, but you've got retained all the detail here. It's kind of towards the middle, but I think it's helped the fact that it's slightly diagonal, and the sort of green area, which is quite strong colour here, is also slightly diagonal. So it kind of makes the thing jump out at you a little bit more. Quite like texture background as well. Again, it's not totally white. You've got hints of pink in it here. But again, it sort of reflects the colour in the rose itself. Okay, you can't see a stem, doesn't really matter. It's pretty much about the sort of the beauty and the delicacy of the petals themselves. So we're going to go 15 on that one, please.
Thorn Mill.
Oh, it's good old Norfolk, isn't it? Yeah. What would Norfolk be without a windmill? It just wouldn't happen, would it? And it's got to be on the Broads as well, I reckon. But yeah, captured in the evening, and it's one of those lovely evenings where you get those sort of layers of light and darkness, and they always work well together. And I think you've probably taken it at the right time. You can't see a white sort of sun, which sometimes happens. You looks yellow to you, but doesn't actually look yellow to the camera, and it comes out as a bit of a white disc. But here we haven't got that. Oh yeah, we've got attractive reflection. Okay, it's not a total clear reflection in a way. It's quite a sort of an abstract reflection, but I think it works in the picture here. It's rather pleasing. I like the fact you've included the reeds at the front, or grasses, whatever you want to call them. And I think it helps as well. They're just a little bit different shape. You've got the horizontals and verticals and diagonals, so it adds a bit of interest here as well. And I suppose you could say is it a windmill or smock mill or whatever it is. It's I suppose you could say it's slightly shaded in the background because of the lighting of the sky, which is probably the camera's exposed slightly more for. Again, you still getting a good idea of its shape and things like that. And it does stand up well against that sort of sky with the light patches and the dark patches. So I think it works well, that picture. So I'm going to hold that one back, please. It's not because I like Norfolk windmills, it's because I like it. Right.
Ascending Mount Slavoria.
Right, yes, it's always when me and my mother went to Austria years ago. We went on a cable car, and there was an Italian woman who wanted to get off halfway up the mountain, which doesn't really work, Anyway, yeah, always a bit of a mixture here, isn't it? I don't know whether it's sort of you've done a monochrome background or whether it was just that sort of difference here, but the red really stands out against it, and makes it got very dramatic colour here. I know it's a very sort of vibrant colour. It doesn't dominate. You still get lots of tonal range in the background here. I think it helps you've got black and a little white in the red here as well. Okay, you can't really see the people in here, but there's probably people in it because it's going up and down this mountain. But I think it also gives a sense of scale. I think if you didn't have that and the sort of wires, I think you wouldn't really appreciate just how big that area is. But yeah, so good sort of texture to the rocks and things like that as well. And I like the sort of misty sort of feel in the background as well. And you can imagine you're going up and you're going to get lost in that sort of misty feeling here as well. Possibly a tad burnout on the right hand side with the snow. Perhaps needed a little bit more adjustment just to sort of bring out some texture in it here. But overall, I think the picture is quite dramatic. So we are going to go a 16 on that one, please. 16, yep.
Road to Hell.
Excuse me, I drink this fine tea. Right. Yeah. What is it? It's a sphinx or something, isn't it? The bird. I don't know if it's in a sort of you've seen something and done something with it, or it's something that you own. Yeah, it's interesting abstract here. I like the sort of fact that it's sort of looking down, and I know it's slightly shadowed here again. There's a sort of the lighting gives it a touch of menace here, doesn't it? That you've got, and again you carried on this sort of lighting with the sort of stony bit that it's standing on, and again you've got sort of the dark areas and light areas, but again it gives it good 3D effect. I think it helps. You've got the diagonal against the bird here, and I like the sort of smoke effects here, the almost incense effect here as well. The fact that it's sort of going from sharp to cloudy here as well. Background again doesn't impact on the picture. The bird stands out against it well. I suppose you're being fussy here. Maybe you need a little catch light in the bird of the eye. I know it's not a live thing, but it would sort of give it an extra bit of menace, I would say here. Possibly I'll have something a little bit on the left hand side. I suppose after all, the little black hair, you feel you want something else in it. Maybe the sort of smoke just drifting into it, because there's quite an area on the left which hasn't got much in it here, and it needs that extra touch here. But but I sort of enjoy the feeling of a bit of danger going across it, even though I said the things are not real, but it sort of gives that impression of a bit of menace going across. So yeah, they still are quite hard work, I think. So I think it's been well done. Ooh. We are going to hold that one back for now.
Grey squirrel.
Of course, you've got to have a squirrel, haven't you? You know, it goes without saying. You know, it's like a swans, isn't it? Somewhere you have to. I haven't seen these swans in this section. I bet there'll be a swan. Anyway, there it is. The usual cheeky squirrel here. Again, we've got the all-important catch light in the eye. I keep saying that, but it does sort of help, doesn't it? It does give life because I find with digital cameras you tend to get quite black eyes, unfortunately. So you just need to sort of add a catch light in. But yeah, again, you know, the lighting I think works here. It's quite soft lighting, but again, we've got lots of detail on the face and the tail, and it's very bushy, isn't it? So I guess it's winter time. Okay, you've lost a little bit of sharpness at the back. Doesn't really matter. It's pretty much on the face you've got. Again, I like the foreground here. These sort of bits of old wood that it's on, and again, maybe it's a little bit of rain on it here because it looks a bit quite textured. And again, the red sort of stands up well against the squirrel here. Background pretty much out of focus again, and does allow the squirrel to stand out. So we're going to go 16 on that one, please. I'll take him home.
Arctic Circle boundary.
Ooh, well, we think it's cold here. I bet it's a lot colder there. Yeah. But what a fabulous sky, eh? Those lovely sort of oranges and pinks and greys, and yeah, sort of striated layered sky. So either you're lucky or you're not here. I don't know. Interesting colour wall. I don't know if it's that sort of colour there, but it's quite a purple colour on it here. Quite interesting. Contrasts quite well against the background here, the sort of pinks of the sky here. Quite like the fact you've got the light sort of leading up to this structure in the middle here, and again that stands out well against the sky here. Okay, it's quite dark on the left-hand side here, on the right-hand side, but again you've got a little bit of light on the right-hand side. But again, you know, the main focus is lit up, and I think that works. Possibly if it's all lit up, it might take away a little bit of the impact of the structure against the sky here. Possibly looking at the sky again, the water again, perhaps after it starts to impact the colour here. But I say it may be just the colour you're getting with that kind of light you've got. But yeah, so enjoy the idea of that sort of white against the sort of pinks and oranges. I think that works rather well. So we're going to go 15 on that one, please.
The metal worker.
Right. Yeah, okay. Possibly a home job they're in. I don't know. They've only workshop. Who knows? But yeah, obviously, I think it works better. I think these kind of pictures, it's better when they're doing something concentrated. If they're looking at you and smiling, it looks a bit staged, doesn't it, if that happens? So I think this is the right thing to have. And you can see what he's made, everything like that, bits and pieces. And I quite like the fact you've got the other bits in there, you know, bits of his pictures and stuff like that. I think that's a bit of a hint of, you know, what perhaps he's done in the past and things like that. So there's a bit of a story, isn't it, about the character itself. Glad you can't sort of get, you know, you're blocked from going out of the room. You have to sort of keep looking around the room and going back to the character here. Possibly it's a little bit soft, the areas around it, the pots and stuff like that. The character itself is pretty sharp. I think because you've included them as sort of part of the picture, a little bit of sharpness would have been good, but maybe you quite a small space here and you chose to focus on the character itself. But say it certainly captures the sort of craftsmanship, doesn't it, and the concentration that you need in the picture here. So we're going to go 14 on that one, please.
Barbie's in town.
Oh, it's Barbie. I never thought about Barbie being the thing, but yeah, you're right. Yeah, pink bike. It's just up her street, isn't it? And yeah, an interesting angle here. You know, you sort of gone a slight diagonal here, and the fact you've got this very sort of vibrant pink does stand out against this rather sort of almost wet road, and it's a slightly sort of a nighttime shot, isn't it? Here, no people, doesn't really matter, but perhaps they're in a pub, which is out. You know, perhaps it's a pub where the bike is parked. And I quite like the other colours in it, the red. I mean, you think that sort of reddy brown colour would clash with the pink, but it doesn't. Sort of pink sort of overrides it, but it doesn't override it so much you can't enjoy it here. I can sort of maybe just see a person in the background here, but say it's a bit of a rainy night. You can imagine they're all in the pub, and I quite like the sort of atmospheric feeling you've got here. And sort of using the bike as a sort of very strong foreground, and its sharpness, I think, is important here. You know, just adds that sort of bright colours to the rest of the picture here. So we're going to go 14 on that one, please.
Kevin Schweitz.
Oh, I haven't seen many butterflies this year. It's a bit of a thing. I mean, even I know we loathe the cabbage white because it eats everything, but they're still important. So there you go. And yeah, when you sort of look at them, they're quite attractive, really, aren't they? With the veins and everything like that, and little sort of hints of black on them and colour here. And I know they're quite small in the picture here. Obviously got lots of flowers. So I think the fact that the flower is sharp and the butterfly is pretty much sharp, particularly the bottom here, I think stands out here. And I quite like the fact you surrounded it with the flowers that are more out of focus, more soft, but we still get an idea of what they're about here. Again, with these things, you know, often that kind of, you often get quite a muddly back, but I think we've done the best to get out of focus as much as we can to sort of minimise the muddle of it you can get. So I think overall the picture worked. I mean, possibly you could argue that the ones at the bottom creeping in perhaps distract your eye a little bit here, but overall that sort of combination of sort of sharpness and softness I think works quite well in the picture. So we're going to go 14 on that one, please.
Nut job.
Absolutely. Right. Possibly a street, so it doesn't look too busy, does it? Perhaps it's too cold, or they've all, you know, sloped off down the pub or something like that. But yeah, she's, you know, she's kind of taken a bit of a chance to have a look at her phone and see if anything exciting's happening. But while we're waiting for the customers, but I like that sort of combination, that night scene, you know, the lights in the window. You can imagine perhaps there's someone still there, perhaps sort of, I don't know, living there, working, that kind of stuff. And I like the sort of smoke on the sort of peanuts and almond stall that you've got here, and it gives a sort of an atmosphere here, doesn't it? I quite like that. Okay, you've got a sort of areas behind someone in the background maybe, but again, it's all part of the scene here, and I don't mind the fact it's a little bit darker here. I don't think you want the background to have the lights because I think it would distract from that main area that you've got. So yeah, I think it should be captured well. Ooh. I think we'll hold that one a second, please.
These are the lights.
Well, that's a while back, wasn't it? Where did autumn go? It sort of flashed by. It was already late, wasn't it? And then we didn't seem to get a lot of it again, really. But there you go. But yeah, again, you know, we get the long shadows, don't you, in October, November time? These trees all sort of reaching to each other, and yeah, and you know, the sort of slight diagonal leads you to those trees at the back. And I like them because it sort of separates the leaves that you've got on the ground as well. But you can still enjoy the colours here as well. I like the fact the one in the middle actually is sort of slightly less leaves. And you can sort of see the shape of the trunk here as well. Again, yeah, the trees at the back, gradually, you know, you see some detail and more on some and less than others here. Again, you know, they're quite interesting. I say they're quite a strong leading that you've got. I think the sky probably wasn't the kindest view. It looks a little bit pale out. So I think covering those trees was probably the right thing to do. Possibly, you know, is there too long a branch you're leading into it here? But again, if you sort of crop it, you lose that impact of a sort of almost vertical sort of leading into trees at the back. So I think you have to keep it as it is. So we're going to go a 14 on that one, please.
Nick.
Right. Now I never know with their members when people put portraits up. Well, I'm going to get out alive. Yeah, I don't know if there's any more monos tonight. I can't remember. But he looks a bit. I'm not sure he wants his picture taken, really. It's different, isn't it? I mean, you know, often there's always a thing about getting people to interact with you and smile, everything like that. So actually, from that point of view, it's a different sort of perspective, isn't it? And though he looks kind of like, I'm not sure I want it, he's actually at the same time interacting with a photographer here. So it does actually work in that aspect. Interesting with the hands. I mean, often with hands on faces, if you get very close to them, they look very, very large and disproportionate. But in this case, I think he kind of works here because his face is kind of scrunched up as well. So having this sort of big hand kind of like feels like the hand is sort of scrunching the face up here as well. Again, good skin tones, I think, here. Got the old catch lights in the eyes, and yeah, the lighting on the hair works here as well. Again, I think he's wearing quite simple clothing, so it doesn't distract from the face here himself. But yeah, it's a little bit different, I think, a little bit different point of view. And again, I think he probably cropped it at the right spot, just before his elbows. Because again, elbows too close to the edge of the picture can be quite distracting. So I think you've done the right thing here. We hold him? I think we'll hold him back. He might cheer up next time I see him. Sorry.
Smoke break.
Right. I guess this is not in. Well, it could be in London. You never know. And yeah, they're all going to cop it, aren't they? Later on, they're going to be up. You know, all sorts of nasty diseases. But yeah. Again, we sort of capture an atmosphere here. although the man sort of sitting down with his cigarette isn't talking, I guess he wouldn't be because he's got a cigarette, but you know he's kind of engaged with those two characters because he's sort of listening in on the conversation here. And although you can't see the guy who's got his back there, again, you sort of feel he's sort of saying something that's, you know, quite, you know, not dramatic, but maybe, oh, come on, what's this about? You know, they're all kind of getting in the conversation here. I like the fact he's got this sort of drum by the side of him, whatever it is, and the hand resting. I think that helps there as well. Okay, you've got people in the background, are probably reflection in the window here, but again, it adds to the atmosphere. And you can sort of, and again, maybe they're having a conversation and you wonder what it's all about. But yeah, so there's a good interaction between the guys, even though I say that you can't see the faces and one isn't talking, though, you can sort of sense there is something going on between them. So we're going to go 14 on that one, please.
Northern Lights.
It is the good old Northern Lights, and they were in Norfolk, weren't they? And parts of Suffolk, maybe? I haven't seen them yet. Anyway, they're very dramatic, aren't they? Fabulous colours. Yeah, and certainly captures the colour here and the lovely sort of waves that you get, and those beautiful greens here. And I like sort of fact that they're going off in slightly different directions here. And obviously, I think you've got a lot of brightness there, so you've got a lot of silhouette at the bottom, but you have got some light at the bottom. So I think that helps here as well, and actually helps the light in the sky stand out. Lots of stars there as well. I have no idea which ones they are, but again, I think that adds interest to the picture and sort of breaks up the sort of areas on the left and the right here. Possibly on the left-hand side, I don't know whether you had some stars, you know, you didn't have them, but it would have been good to just see a bit of detail on the left-hand side here, because there's sort of a light's perhaps moving into something. We just needed that extra bit, maybe sort of similar to the right-hand side. But overall, I think we capture well. It sort of certainly captures the beautiful colours and that effect that you get with this thing against the sky here. I think that works really well. So we are going to go at 16 on this one. Because I'm jealous. Okay.
Not moved on.
He doesn't want to move on. Right.
Sheltered sea view.
It is. That's, yeah, I think it's been raining. I can see water. So someone's decided they're not going out at the moment. And yeah, again, you know, you get a bit of hint of water here. And I like the fact you've left, I think it's a bit of a puddle on the side here. And so it gives you a hint of perhaps what it was like, and now the sun has come out. And also you haven't got any people there as well, which suggests that it wasn't particularly nice. Yeah, again, you know, sort of soft browns here against, well against the sort of sky and the sand, sort of interact with each other here. Don't think it matters you haven't got any people here. So it's a rainy day, you get the feeling it's like that. In fact, you've got water, you've got sand, you've got this sort of a hint of the sky that might go like it. I think works quite well. And I quite like the fact you've got this area at the top. Again, you've got quite interesting colours, quite a bit of texture as well. It just adds an interest to sort of the sky and gives you a bit of a diagonals here as well. So we're going to go a 14 on that one, please.
Heat cap.
Right, it is a fungi. I was wondering what it was. Yeah, again, I didn't see any fungi again. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, they capture well. They're usually in a dark place, aren't they, fungi? And they can be a bit of a swine to catch. But again, we looked underneath here and we kept some detail here. And they always look kind of, I don't know, like not velvet, but they've got a funny texture to them. It's all glistening as well that's coming across in the picture. Again, you know, the background is it's got a darkish background, but again, I think the white stands out against it quite well. Don't mind it slightly up the middle of the stem here. Possibly would have helped it being a little bit sharper. I think because you're sort of leading it, using it to lead us up to that sort of dramatic sort of arch shape of the fungi. So I think we need to see that sharpness here. But I do enjoy the sort of light on the fungus itself, that sort of softness and that sort of feeling of almost, I don't know, I was thinking velvet or jelly or something. Lots of things come to mind here. But yeah, it gives different sort of thoughts in your head here. So we are going to go 13 on that one, please.
Pretty in pink.
Right, I have no idea what sort of flower this is. It looks familiar, but I'm not sure. Anyway, again, you know, we've used the background, I think. If you look at it, we've got this sort of soft pinks, which reflects themselves in the flower itself. And I quite like the fact you've left the buds in. I think possibly they're sort of dying off. The flowers that have gone away, and there's just the sort of seed heads here. And I think they work quite well in the picture here. Again, I think I've got a reasonable sharpness. You've got sort of the one at the front is sharp, but gradually as I go towards, they possibly lose it towards the flower itself. But the flower itself is sharp. One in the background I don't mind. You've lost it. It's out of focus. We still get enough information about what it is. And again, it's got a slightly watery effect in the background, which does go with the background that you've got. Okay, and again, you know, good lighting on the flower itself. You know, we kept lots of detail in it here, and again, this sort of diagonal view I think works quite well. So we're going to go 15 on that one, please. Right,
The garden shed.
right. It's like a pub. Yeah. Obviously in the summer because you've got sun and light and everything like that. And any sort of a street scene is often, I think, again, quite hard to capture. You know, what do you include, what do you exclude here? But yeah, you've got a bit of a frame here. I think you've used the sort of sign on the left, on the right, and the lamppost, or I guess it's a traffic thing on the left hand side. So you sort of framed the main sign here as well, and the people. So you sort of enclose them here as well. Yeah, and again, you look at people having a conversation. You know, there's a bit of stories there, what they're talking about, what they're doing, why they are. And I quite like the fact you've included the people in the pub here as well. So you get a bit of both in the picture here. I say they are quite hard things to take. I suppose if you're fussy, you could argue you need the bottom of the post. But I don't think it's the end of the world. I say it's just acting as a frame here. I quite like the sort of, also you included the photos just to add a little bit of interest. And I've just noticed there's a bod at the top here, possibly to do with the owner or something leaning out of the window. So that a bit of interest here as well. That sort of window that's open just sort of breaks that area up at the top a little bit. So we're going to go 13 on that one, please.
Terrace houses, Manchester.
God, they're a bit grim, aren't they? Sorry, they probably cost. I bet they cost an absolute fortune. They look it, don't they? But oh my God, you know, did someone grease someone's hand to have them? They're probably really nice inside, but they look a bit stalag, shall I say, for a better description. But they are a bit, aren't they? I mean, they're quite grim. But yeah, again, the angle taken at this sort of diagonal here, almost a sort of not a recession, but it's that sort of recession going to the background here. I think you probably do the right thing by blocking the end off with some greenery here, and so it brings you back to the foreground. I quite like the fact you've got some light at some of these windows. It just lightens a little bit here, and it's interesting because the sky is quite overcast, and it kind of goes with the buildings, but you've almost got these sort of shadows and lightness at the bottom here. And in some reason, they built these flats which are a bit gruesome, and they tried to soften it up with some grasses. Which is, you know, an interesting thing here. But yeah, say those people. I don't think you wanted people. I think it would take away that rather, shall we say, Russian effect. I think in the picture here. But yeah, we're going to go hard on this, but we're going to go a 16 on that one.
15.
16.
The wall on Church Street,
Right.
Manchester.
Oh right. Someone's obviously been to Manchester. Oh, that was a group outing. Yeah, quite dramatic paintings, I guess, on the wall here. And I don't know if they're famous people or anything like that. I have no idea, but it's great artwork, isn't it? There's loads of pictures in that alone, I think you can see. And the more you look at it, you see like a C&D sign and a sort of octopus and graffiti and someone with a bone through their nose. And they say there's lots and lots of things that you can look at here. And well, it's quite odd because the stairs look really small in comparison to the size of the sort of paintings here. And it's almost like there's sort of a toy stairs like put in the middle here. I'm sure that isn't the case here at all. But yeah, it's interesting kind of effect. And you wonder, you know, who lives up there or what's going on or anything like that. Maybe they're sort of painted on. Maybe that's what I'm going wrong with. But yeah, so the chairs look disproportionate to the paintings themselves in it here as well. Maybe you needed a sort of a real person in front, just to sort of give it a sense of scale here as well. But you didn't. So you know, we enjoy the artwork as it is. Again, I think the lighting probably works. So you don't want a really dramatic lighting. Though again, you would sort of get some effects with here, but certainly that sort of lighting allows you to really enjoy the artwork that you've got here. And it's kind of been very interesting in its own right. So we're going to go a 13 on that one, please.
Tower Hill.
Oh, Norfolk again. Right. Yeah, again, and probably a late afternoon shot, evening looks like, oh, maybe it's early morning, who knows. But again, very lovely lighting, isn't it? And to capture the side of that little dinghy, boat, whatever you call it, sort of brought out the textures of the wood that you've got on the side here. And I know it's a very still reflection. Again, it works in the picture here. I like the fact you've got sort of still reflections and you've got these slightly abstract reflections here as well. sort of leading on and off through the picture here. Again, you can't see all of the structure in the background. It doesn't matter. The lighting at the top is just sort of lifting it up. But you've got these sort of lovely colours around it here as well. And again, the light is hitting the building. Again, it's dark in places, but you've got enough to give you information here. You might argue, do you need a little boat in the middle? I don't think so, really. I think it might become a little bit distracting, and I think you'll draw you away from that rather lovely coloration of that boat at the front. So I'm going to hold that one back. And it's not because I liked in Norfolk, you see. I think that's a poppy.
Poppy pod.
It is a poppy. And yep. Again, interesting point of view. I think poppies, again, are one of those things that have lots of lives. Again, this works sort of soft petals here, sharpness in the middle here, good contrast here. And again, I like the sort of colorations, the purples and the pinks against that rather more vivid green. I think that works. The background possibly a little bit strong, the green color, but I think there isn't too much of it. So it doesn't distract too much from the picture here. I suppose there's another argument, did you need some part of the petal sharp? But I quite like that. So I like that abstract effect between the two that you've got here. And again, it pretty much fills the picture here, and you've got a slight sort of diagonal to the center here, and again to the areas around it here. So we're going to go 13 on that one, please.
Holy light.
Yeah, fabulous ceiling on this one, isn't it? Rather beautiful carvings and paintings and things like that. And again, good bits of architecture here, and again, church is difficult lighting here. If you get one bit correctly exposed, another bit isn't correctly exposed. So I think the photographer's done well here to get both parts exposed properly, not getting too many highlights, things like that. And I like the sort of light coming through. Is it light coming through or sort of Christmas decos? I'm not sure, but it looks like it's sort of coming through the windows. And it sort of gives it, it sort of connects the two things together, the ceiling and the windows here as well. And it also does give some sort of sense of scale here as well. I think if you had a person, you'd have half a person, which might look a little bit odd here. So I think, you're relying very much on the light and the sort of contrasting colours here to make the picture here, which I think has been done here. So we're going to go 14 on that one, please.
Seaside waves.
Right, yeah. I think there's been a few dramatic pictures, haven't we, with all the winds and rains that we've got. But here's quite a calm scene. Perhaps it's the North Sea, I don't know. But I quite like the idea, you've used this almost in a straight line, quite stark and quite looking at you here. It doesn't matter, you cropped it a little bit at the end, doesn't matter. You get the feeling they're sort of wet and there's the textures coming out here. And I quite like that you've used this wave in the middle, just breaking over the breakwalls, sort of breaks up the scene that you've got here. And again, an interesting contrast in colour of water, isn't it? The whites and the greens that you've got against the sort of sand that you've got in the foreground here. So quite a simple picture, but I think, works quite well. So we're going to go a 14 on that one, please.
Be on the pedal.
Right, yeah, again, bees are obliging or not obliging. But again, this one is being good to you and he decided to stay there. And quite a fact, he's almost got a sort of thing growing out of his back here, another sort of flower here. It's obviously just where he's standing, but it's quite an interesting effect here. And yeah, he's well buried, isn't he, here? But, you get the feeling he's very active, and that's sort of coming across in the picture here. Again, your flowers are quite soft, but I guess that allows the bee to stand out, especially the wings here and the head area here. And I guess it's, which bit do you want sharp here, the bee or the flower here? So I think this time you've obviously gone for the bee. But yeah, I quite like the effects of it here. And again, that sort of soft background, I think works quite well. It provides an interesting kind of background for the bee and the flower here. We're going to go 13 on that one, please.
Last one, the
Right.
second,
Okay.
is lens flare.
Right. Yeah, a bit of contre-jour and all that, you take the risk of burning your eyes out, things like that. But there you go. Yeah. And again, I think it's a tricky subject because obviously, you're in danger of getting some exposure right on some bits and then losing detail on the other. I guess a little bit here, we've got a little bit, the trees have gone slightly dark, but yeah, we can sort of still see some detail and the shape of them here. And on the ground itself, we've got detail. So we haven't lost everything here. And it's created quite a sort of spooky feel to the back of the picture here, isn't it? Sort of misty feeling here. And I think they've done well to, keep detail in the sort of the light in the background here. Again, it is slightly white, but you have got these quite yellow edges as well. So you have kept the detail here. Gaia, does it need people? I don't think so. Really. It's all about sort of the sort of misty feeling and that sort of atmosphere of light. So I think that's been done quite well. So we're going to go a 15 on that one, please.
Okay, we've got 5 going back.
Oh, that's not too bad, is it? Okay. I can't really help out now. You can't really do either. Suppose you don't get judges to hold things back. Yeah.
Right, we
Ah.
got them again.
Right. I know there's 2 Norfolk ones in here.
Those are on for them again.
Please. Yes, please.
Yeah. Thorn Mill,
Oh, that's our bird, isn't it? I remember him.
the road to heaven, not good. Yeah.
Crow.
Okay.
Oh, there you go. Oh, well, I have no idea. That's helpful, isn't it? What's the next one? Oh, it's the road to hell, the next one, isn't it?
Road to hell's next one.
Yeah, so you just go through again, please.
Yeah.
Later. Oh, it's good, that. Okay, next one, please. We're gonna go a 17 on this one, please. Because I think it's quite atmospheric. Not sure about him yet. He hasn't cheered up. Oh crikey. This one I think there's 2 Norfolk ones, isn't there? What's the first Norfolk one again? Yeah, it's got lots of atmosphere. I think we're gonna go and like this one. We're gonna go 18 on that one, I think. Yeah. So there isn't much between them, to be honest.
That's so,
Okay. Next one, next one. Keeping you in suspense. What's the next one? Is it a bit I think I'm gonna give a 19, I think.
that's Lynn Fletcher.
Right, so we've got I'll give that one a 20, I think, because I think that's beautiful lighting.
So,
There's one left. Yeah, I think it's been done really well. The only thing I was a slight was you need a little bit of light in the eye, but apart from that, I think it's been done really well. So that's a 20 for that one.
John Smith.
Right.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Do you want to continue?
No, I'll take a break.
Yep.
What's the time?
Yeah, we'll take a break there so we can just reset everything. We're free for about 10 minutes.
Okay.
Quick break and then
Speed up.
okay. Thank you very much.
Speed up.
Yeah. Right, be on Zoom. I hope everything's okay. Back in 10 minutes.
No. So, doesn't want to play ball, does it? Please be nice. Oh, that's not the blue screen of death there, is it?
That's all you.
They do, yeah, they do say that, don't they?
Okay.
I think, did you get that now? There's a blue screen of death on computers. I suppose you do, don't you?
From time to time.
From time to time, yes.
Doesn't matter. Right. We could be.
Ta-da. We have liftoff.
We have.
We have liftoff.
We have 46 interviews.
Okay.
And the first one is.
Yeah, just run through them.
Run through first.
Run through.
Or you're gonna go straight in.
It's a quick run through. And you can see if it's going to cooperate.
Very rapid run through.
It's all right.
Oh, slow down.
That's all right. That's how long they get on these EAF competitions. About 10 seconds, isn't it?
Okay, 10 seconds.
You form quite a lot in 10 seconds in your brain, actually. Quite odd. Ah. Okay. Right. Again, we've got a good variety. Also, got quite a lot of portraits. I noticed this one, but lots of other subjects here as well.
I'm told lost again.
Oh, it's a bit sad, isn't it? And don't know what game. I don't know what is they're playing. It's baseball or something like that. They've got sort of headgear, haven't they, to protect them here? But yeah, she looks a bit despondent, isn't she? The walk isn't very bouncy. It's just kind of like dragging your feet. So you certainly get that feeling of not succeeding here as well. No, you can't steal the face. Again, you get a hint of it, don't you, in expression here. Again, with this one, I think Cassie Monochrome, there's not too many distracting colours. Obviously, she showed that quite well in a sort of stance here. And the background pretty out of focus here. Possibly I'll crop about half of the right-hand side off here because I really want the figure to sort of jump out at me a bit more. But yeah, certainly sort of capture that feeling of despondency, I think you could say here. So we're going to go 13 on that one, please. Right. Or a hair. Yeah, sort of captured again. They were very, I've seen one occasionally, and they are, they don't hang about, do they? But yeah, he's been captured well. Very alert again. Possibly ready to take off if you disturb him too much. And again, I quite like the idea of this sort of soft focus around it here. Again, a little bit soft at the back of the hair or leveret. But he sort of fits in with the background that you've got here. It's quite soft colours here, so that works here. And again, good lighting on the ears, and they're lit up. And I think we've got the catch light in the eyes here as well. And so yeah, he's framed quite well. And he's again he's sort of between the first, sort of the first and the middle third, isn't he? I suppose you could say, or the third and the middle third, I guess. So we're going to go. We're going to go 16 on him, please. No, we'll go 17 on him. Sorry.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah, possibly in a historic house or something like that. Like Kentwell or somewhere, which is nowhere near here, but it's that kind of scene, isn't it? And again, they often have interesting objects, don't they, in the window sills here, and they just need the right sort of lighting. I think you've got it here, and you managed to got the detail in the windows. Obviously slightly grubby, but the light has captured that. But it hasn't burnt the windows out, and you sort of kept the detail in the objects here as well. I don't know whether you cheated and moved around a bit, but they sort of hang together quite well. Got a bit of writing on the tablet, doesn't matter. Again, it's part of the scene here. And okay, I don't think you wanted too much in front. You've got a hint of what's beyond. Again, it doesn't distract. And again, you've handled the writing here as well. Sorry, not writing, the lighting here as well. So it's quite difficult lighting, quite challenging, this kind of lighting. So we're going to go 15 on this one, please.
Very long way home, Waddy Rum.
Right. Okay, yeah, very dramatic rocks here again, isn't it? and you know, very stark they are, and you can't imagine anybody climbing up them, anything like that. But possibly they do, who knows? It just looks very deserted, doesn't it? The whole thing is quite bleak and whatever. I think the fact you've included, I think that little car there does give you a sense of scale, and though it's small, it's quite significant, and I think without it you would not get that sense of scale. But against that kind of colours here, you've got the sort of very sort of pretty sky, I guess you could call it, with those clouds here. Yeah, it's a sort of a contrast, a drama against sort of almost a sort of dramatic sky as well, but a softer sky here as well. But it is a little bit soft, I think, in the picture here, which is a bit of a shame. But apart from that, so I think, you know, it's a dramatic picture that does work well. So we're going to go with 13 on that one, please.
Oh, bit of Latin, the Xanthus.
It's always someone puts a title in you can't read, isn't there? Yeah, but again, you know, very simple sort of picture here, but I think well done. You know, I think it's important that you've kept everything sharp here from the bottom to the top, because everything sort of forms part of a picture. Again, this sort of lighting you've used works. You know, you've not sort of blasted out the flower. It's quite delicate against the green, but we've got lots of detail on here, so I think works. And I like the fact you've left the buds in as well. It just gives us a little bit of character of the flower itself. Background's pretty pale, possibly a little bit white after maybe it takes slightly away from delicacy of flower, because it is quite a pale colour, and possibly the background is a little bit sort of fighting with it here. But apart from that, you know, I like the sort of simplicity of the delicacy. I think that works well. Not something I'm very good at, I have to say. So we're going to go I'm going to go 15 on that one, please. 15.
Pelican at dawn.
Pelican at dawn.
Yeah, I don't use 60 very well.
All right, okay. Yeah, yeah, again, it's almost like a sort of paint effect on it, isn't it? You've got here. And I have no idea what technique you use, but it sort of gives that impression here. Yeah, and he's been sort of captured where obviously he's landing, and you've got the sort of movement of sort of the wings and everything like that. And the sort of effect you use works quite well, because you sort of they almost sort of go with each other, but they've still got some separation here as well. Quite pastel colours here, the greys and the sort of blues here. But I think the fact you've got this bright orange, it makes him stand out well against it here. So it's quite a stylised picture, but I think, you know, the fact you sort of use the speed and things like that to sort of enhance it, I think works quite well in the picture here. So we're going to go a 16 on that one, please.
Where's my cake?
Right. It's on your head, mate. That's the trouble, you know. And possibly could be, I'm not sure he's a Morris dancer or something like that. He don't look very happy again, does he? Perhaps because he ain't got his cake, who knows? I don't know what he's for or anything like that. But yeah, again, he's not really interacting with the photographer, but again, doesn't mind you taking the picture here. And I quite like the grumpy expression here. It's a bit of a contrast, isn't it? With the sort of the jolly hat and decorated and things like that. So you wonder what it's, you know, what he's grouchy apart from his cake. Again, the background pretty out of focus. Maybe some white areas there, slightly distracting. Maybe just a little bit of burning in, just to get rid of them here. Again, you see them; they distract slightly from the character. But yeah, I do like that sort of contrast between, you know, happy hat and sort of miserable face. I think works rather well. So we'll go 16 on that one, please.
Hello.
As I say, there's a few portraits tonight. And yeah, again, I think it's been captured well. I think the background's slightly grey here, which I think works with the skin tones here. Yeah, I've got the golden important catchlight in the eye, as we say, and a little bit of light on the lips, which I think helps here. And okay, so she's not a pristine hair, anything that doesn't really matter. I quite like that sort of soft effect around her face here. And again, yeah, she's interacting well with the photographer here. So you've got that sort of connection here as well. Possibly the shoulders, she's a little bit, I think maybe you've moved in quite close to her. Her shoulders look a little bit crunched in, a little bit small against her face here, slightly disproportionate here. But the face itself is delicate, and I say I like that sort of slightly pensive expression. I think that works well in the picture here. So we're going to go a 15 on that one, please.
The Red Warrior.
Oh, right, this could be anything. I'm not sure about that knife. Looks a little bit worrying, doesn't it? And yeah, again, capture. And I like the intensity of the eyes here. I guess as they are, I guess it's a mock scene, to be honest with you. I hope so, anyway. But yeah, it's intense. And I think the fact they've got these sort of black eye shadow way, I think it enhances the fact here as well. You know, obviously you know, the red sort of material around it sort of enhances the black in the face here as well. And I think the knife is in the right spot. Okay, the hand is slightly soft, possibly it was moving, but you certainly got the light on the blade, and it said that sort of mixture of the concentration in the blade suggests they mean business here. And this one, I think, background pretty out of focus. It allows the red to stand out and sort of expression to stand out really well. So that's a held back, please.
What I got for Christmas.
Oh, did you? Okay, nice bit of boss. Okay, don't brag about it, you know. Yeah, is it aftershave? Yeah, it might be. Perfume, I don't know. Do men wear perfume? It's aftershave. Aftershave and used or something, isn't it? Anyway. Yeah, again captured again. Quite a simple picture here, but I think you've used the lighting well. And we've got a hint of the glass, I think, that it's on, and almost a perfect reflection. But again, with bits of metal and glass, you know, you have to fight reflections and bits bouncing off it. And I think we've controlled the lighting here well, so we get details in both parts. And I like the fact the bottom half is slightly darker than the top here as well. Also, you've got a sort of striation of layers between the two, the top and the bottom here. Possibly you needed, I don't know, just something else in it here, maybe I don't know, a scarf, a bit of clothing or something, or just to sort of say I'm going out for the evening, I'm wearing my boss, something like, just to give it an extra bit of story. But apart from that, and sort of, I think the lighting's been handled well. And yeah, let's say simplicity gives it a kind of a strong appeal here. We're going to go 14 on that one, please. I quite like Hugo Boss, by the way. Quite nice.
Hire.
Sorry.
For hire.
Right. Could be Cambridge or somewhere. That's sort of bike hire. It could be the Netherlands. Who knows? It can't be, can it? But you know, wherever it is. And yeah, you can imagine that someone's going to get on. They look a little bit sort of old, don't they? Actually, a bit of a bone shakers, to be honest. But there you go. And yeah, and you can imagine someone's going to cycle around the city and not walk for the next 3 days, that kind of thing. But I like the fact you've got this sort of monochrome effect on the bikes and the touch of red on the one on the wall here. I think that works quite well. Got some people in the background. Maybe they're coming to get a bike. But again, they don't intrude too much on the scene here. And you get a hint of the sort of other bits there, cafe, things like that, whatever. And there's just this sort of touch here. Sky is slightly blank here, but I think you've done sort of the right thing to use the buildings to cover most of it up. I say it's just that, you know, it's a story, isn't it? What's going to happen next that comes across here. So we're going to go 16 on that one, please. Hello. Hello, we'll be jealous again. Oh, Hugo again. Yeah, don't get another mark for you, know.
Right.
You've done that one.
Right.
Sheep. I think we've got a couple of sheep ones. Right, yep. And yep. And obviously that one is tied to the ground or glued it to the ground. Yeah, I don't know where it is, perhaps the dale, somewhere like that. And yeah, again, you get a bit of sense of the environment that it lives in here, doesn't it? And quite like the inclusion of the little trees here. To you know, act as a bit of a frame for our sheep. And in fact, you included the background, so it gives a sense of where it is. And he's sort of half looking at you, but he doesn't seem too bothered. And again, he's in a quite a good position here. Possibly I'd like to see more of the other one here. It's unfortunate that he hid himself behind, or her behind a tree here. And it just would have sort of finished the picture off a little bit here and sort of gives them a link between the two here. But yeah, lovely sort of lighting. And so you've got lots of textures on the grasses, the background, on the sheep itself. I'm going to go a 13 on that one, please.
Wave crash, wall of water.
Yeah, we've had a bit of that, I think, on the coast, haven't we? We're always told to keep away, aren't we? Because it's dangerous. That's boring, isn't it? You can't, you know, you have to go down and take it. But yeah, you can imagine someone's about to get a soaking with that lot coming over. And yeah, lights coming through, a bit of contra, I think, here. And sort of picking up all the sparkles. That comes across quite well. And again, you're getting lots of colours, aren't you? The whites and bits of green and whatever here. Again, difficult exposure here. Quite in fact, you've included the bit of railing here, adds a bit of contrast. It sort of says that there's sort of something in front of it that you can sort of relate to where it is. Quite like a sort of splash of water coming over here as well, just about to sort of crash on you and land on you. Pity perhaps at the top of it you lost it. It's getting a little bit white here. Possibly you could sort of crop that bit and just sort of focus on the area where you've got the sort of the greens and the sparkly bits here as well. I think that would make the picture stronger here. But yeah, so quite dramatic though. I'm going to go with 13 on that one, please.
Urban fox.
Well, we have a fox, don't we, as well? Robins, foxes, squirrels. They feature, don't they? Yeah, again, he doesn't care about you. He's giving you the eyes, isn't it? Like, what are you taking me for? This is my spot. But yeah, quite cheeky at the same time. And yeah, the capture well again, you know, got the, I think the catchlight in the eye here, very intense sort of stare that the fox has got here. And I like the fact you've actually included the plants around him here to sort of show that actually, you know, he's an intruder in your sort of patch, so to speak here, but at the same time, he doesn't care that he's an intruder in your patch. So that comes across quite well. And again, quite soft lighting, plenty of detail on the fox itself. So we'll go. I'm going to hold that one back a second, please.
Autumn forest stream.
Right, yes. Yeah, that season again, and again, a hint of the colours here, isn't it? The oranges and the browns here against the sort of verdant greens, and yeah, it's always this. You know, do you have very fluffy water or very frozen water here? But I think yeah, this sort of a middle effect works quite well here. Though it's not sharp that you got, but you still sort of retain the force of the water, even though you sort of softened it up here. Quite in fact, you've got a couple of little bit rocks here. Does give it a bit of sense of scale here, and again, you've got a little bit of a sort of wavy, sort of almost S feel about the picture, which I think sort of makes the water flow quite well. Possibly a little bit soft at the foreground. I know you've said that's a bit of a dark comment, but it's almost sort of going too soft maybe, and you're losing perhaps the impact here. But overall, I think it works quite well. So we're going to go 15 on that one, please.
Paris.
Right, yeah, so there's the portraits here, and this is an outdoor one, possibly a semi-candy shot, and quite, you know, bold use of colour here with the oranges and the reds. It doesn't distract from each other here. Yeah, and again, you know, she's sort of, you know, engaging with the photographer here and seems quite relaxed, and I quite like that sort of interaction and that sort of semi-smile that she's got. I think works in the picture here. Again, good skin tones here, nothing too blasted out. And though her top is quite detailed, it isn't distracted from her face here, I think. But it's a pity you've got this sort of wooden thing in the background. It does perhaps sort of clash slightly with her hat. But I don't mind the sort of white here. I think it sort of goes with it. But I quite enjoy her. I enjoy her expression and sort of colour, and sort of the ease which she has with the photographer. It comes across, I think, well in the picture here. I'm going to go 15 on that one, please.
Sacred ibis at sunset.
Right, yeah, almost a monochromatic shot, I think it is, and yeah, and although they are silhouetted, you certainly get a good idea of the shape of these birds, don't you? And I like these slightly abstract reflections here as well, and again, the sort of sharpness in the middle and the sort of abstract around the top of it here, and so I think that works well. And you know, they do say odds work. I mean, they are odds, aren't they, with the birds, but they're actually even. But it still works in the picture here. And it's quite a simple picture using just light and sort of silhouette, I think, has come across well. So that's a held back, please.
Oh, John.
That went quick.
Oh, this is that. Wrong, John.
Oh,
Okay. Louise.
right, yeah. Okay, portrait again, I keep saying that. And quite different again, isn't it? And they're very lost in their own thoughts here, isn't it? And again, you feel there's some sort of relationship with the photographer here. She's not sort of uncomfortable with the fact that it's photographing her. Again, I think, yeah, quite a black background here, but it does allow her skin tones to stand out and that top that she's got. And I think, fortunately, because she's got the red, allows her top to stand out against that background here. Possibly the hand is a little bit sort of too near the sort of camera. It's got a little bit larger and a little bit white. And just a little bit distance, I think, would sort of make it smaller. But I like the way you've used it as a prop here against her face here. And I think that works quite well in the picture here. We're going to go 14 on that one, please.
Art Deco sunset.
Right, I thought we were back to the Gulag. Actually, I saw this one, but I'm wrong. Yeah, again, it looks quite. I mean, it isn't. Again, it looks quite stark from that angle, doesn't it? But I can see it's Art Deco because of the window styles here. And yeah, again, I think it probably works in mono here. And you can just enjoy the architecture here, can't you? And the different lines and things like that. They're very sort of stylized, aren't they, with Art Deco stuff. Do we need a person? I don't think so. I think it's pretty much about the architecture here. Interesting kind of cloud formation you've got, and again, it kind of goes with the greyness of this scene that you've got. I think that works quite well. Possibly needs some more detail in the rest. It's gone a little bit white and may just need a hint of grey in it as well. Possibly you can't do anything with it because it's got a little bit like that. But overall, you know, I think sort of that cloud in the middle and the building, I think work well together. God, excuse me. I got a 13 on that one, please. Oh,
Gone for lunch.
crikey. That's going to be a while off yet, isn't it? Yeah, again, possibly quite late in the afternoon or in the year. You've got these lovely shadows, haven't you, of the deck chairs, and they're very colourful and bright. And yeah, they've all cleared off to the pub again, haven't they? Things like that. But yeah, so the lighting coming through the back of it certainly sort of gives them a translucency and a lovely colour here as well. Yeah, obviously got the P in the background, gives a hint of what's beyond. And I can see possibly a bird or something, or even maybe someone with a, I don't know, a kite thing in the background here. Possibly the background is a little bit washed out. Possibly that was the effect to make the deck chairs stand out. But because you've sort of included the pier and made it quite a strong element of the picture, I think we need to sort of see perhaps more. You have got detail on the pier, but the area sort of surrounding the pier just needs to have a bit more sort of clarity, I think, is what I'm getting at here. So sort of match the clarity of the colours of the deck chairs here. But yeah, it certainly sort of captures the sort of feeling of summer, doesn't it? Or hopefully summer. So we'll go 13 on that one, please.
Joanne.
Right, yeah. Okay, so it's got the Queen's pearls on or something like that. And again, it's quite there's slight softness to this picture here, and again, you know, she's sort of not looking. She's sort of looking at you, but kind of in her own sort of world here as well. And you can't tell by the sort of the eyes looking down, and sort of lips, open lips. But yeah, I think it works quite well. Again, good lighting, good skin tones here, and again, the background is fairly sympathetic to her sort of skin tones and hair here. Possibly again, the shoulders a little bit close to you, making a little bit large. Again, maybe stepping back a little bit here, so it gives you a bit of distance between it here. But I quite like the inclusion of the pearls here. Sort of breaks up the distance between the shoulder and the face here as well. I mean, overall, you know, good skin tone and sort of a sort of dreamy sort of feel about the picture comes across, I think, in it here. So we are going to give her a 15. Oh, these mad people, isn't it? Strap themselves to planes, and you know. Apparently, it's really popular. But lots of people want to do it. Lots of women want to do it. There you go. And yeah, you've got the perfect weather here, haven't you? This sort of slightly overcast sky here really allows the blues and the reds to stand out here. But you captured the characters just the right spot, and you managed to catch them doing the same thing at the same time, which is pretty good as well. And yeah. Obviously, you've got the stream of it coming across here, the smoke coming out. And I like the fact that the two are slightly separated here as well. So you get a bit of a sort of diagonal with the planes here as well. If I'm being very fussy, maybe I'll crop a little bit off the left-hand side, but not massive. Just to give them plenty of space, but say it's not such a strong area here. So just a little bit off, and then they'll stand out even more. We're going to hold that one back, please. And I know I've never tried that on a plane.
No, thank you.
Right, again, you know, quite different here again, isn't it? And very sort of closed in, I think. But you know, having said that, I think you probably cropped it at the right spot. I think if you cropped it low, you might have found that the shoulder would start to become too big. So I think you cropped the right spot. And again, you know, she's quite relaxed with Tora. She's looking at it here, and I think that comes across quite well. Don't mind the fact that her ear is slightly soft here. I think the intensity is on her sort of eyes and her face here. So I think that works. It possibly got too many catch lights in the eye, but again, it's not the end of the world here. But you know, you just sort of captured the moment in time, I think. And again, you know, a little bit cropped at the top. Again, I'm not too fussed about it here. But yeah, I think to sort of crop her in that closer, I think is quite brave, because often you tend to give a bit more space, and here we haven't done that. You know, we sort of framed her in quite a lot. So we're going to go a 16 on that one, please. 16.
Reflections.
Yeah, that's an interesting idea. And again, you know, she's a little bit sort of in her own world, isn't she? I think if she was small, you probably wouldn't work here. So I think this kind of slightly sort of sullen expression possibly works here. And yeah, I like the idea of it, you know, different sort of aspects of her face, you know, because the reflections that you've got here. And again, I think this works in monochrome here. You've always got this kind of like sort of smoke effect in the background. And it's again, quite a stylized kind of picture here as well. I think, is there too much on the left and the right hand side? Do we need to copy? Possibly we do. And then we sort of bring that central area here, and then we possibly lose some of the wispy bit here. So it's a bit of a, you know, it's one of those things you can experiment with. But yeah, I think she's quite. Again, I think it works in monochrome here. It's quite sort of stark, but you know, it's not distracting, and you really can sort of enjoy the sort of faces, I think, coming through the reflections. So I'll hold that one back, please.
We have a bird waiting for a mate.
Oh, well, there you go. Could be waiting a while for its arrival. Yeah, again, you know, very bright, isn't it? And so it stands against those quite pastely greens here. I don't know if that's the sort of thing to allure the thing at the top. I don't really know. But it's quite a striking object in its own right, isn't it? I know, again, he's quite small in the picture here. I think, you know, you get a good sense of the environment here. And I don't mind the sort of area around it. I think it works quite well. Acts as quite a good frame. I think if it was very pale, that bird, you probably would fight with the colours around it. But I think because it's bright, I think it works in the picture space here. So we're going to hold that one back, please. Ah, it's one of them, isn't it?
Wimpole Cathedral of Loch.
Yeah, we had that's been a season, hasn't it? It's all gone now, and yeah. How did you manage to get no hardly people in it? I'm intrigued because I've been to a couple of these, and my God, this is the area people always take loads of pictures. And so either you went very late or you were very patient. I don't know. But yeah, certainly captured the light here, and yeah, again, you know, this time of night is quite difficult to get everything sort of with sharpness here, but I think it's a little bit softer in the front here, but generally we've kept the sharpness here. And I quite like the fact you've got these sort of blue lights coming here as well in the picture here. I quite like the figures in it. The fact they're walking away helps. The fact you've got a smaller figure and a larger figure helps. It's sort of got perhaps a child or something looking through the lights on the right hand side, I think works in the picture here as well. Possibly I'll crop a little bit off the front because it's like you haven't got the figures, it's perhaps not quite as strong. It's sort of stronger towards the back, but nevertheless, you know, combination of the light and the figures, I think, you know, does hold together quite well. So we're going to go 15 on that one, please.
Vietnamese railway works.
Oh my God, I don't think they'd do that over here, would they? Oh my God, really don't. Yeah, again, it works in mine. I just you haven't got the sort of distracting colours or anything like that, and you sort of just enjoy the scene. But it's the kind of almost lack of health and safety that strikes you straight away. And then you start to look at the characters, don't you? Here, you've got obviously people working hard in the middle. You've got the supervisor on the left-hand side that does nothing, you know, and the one who's had enough and walked away, and the one who's practicing his kung fu in the sort of background here. So you've got little stories going on here as well, and. Yeah, I quite like the feeling of the recession here, sort of as it fades into the back. I think that works quite well in the picture here as well. But say it's all about the environment and the sort of the characters, isn't it? All sort of holding together in the picture here. So we're going to go a 15 on that one, please.
Water Lane Church.
Right, yeah, a bit of zoom, I think you could say. That's the word, isn't it? And yeah, I guess the building didn't move, you've just done it yourself. But it works quite well. And it's interesting if you've got sort of like a bit of road and things like that in it, zooming into the church here. And I think they're quite hard to do because there's a sort of risk of get everything sort of very quite confusing and whatever. But here we haven't. We've kept the effects here and we sort of kept colours in here as well. And I think the fact that you sort of leading up to the sky here, this thing helps with the sort of effect of the zoom here as well. And again, I think the fact you've included the wings at the bottom does give you a bit of sense of scale here as well. You do get perhaps a sense of its size. So we'll hold that one back, please.
Two Marsh Retellants.
Did you miss one?
No.
It's this one, is it? Right, okay. Yeah, they're lovely colour, aren't they? And again, captured well. I think, again, patience or luck, I don't know. But yeah, certainly captured them. I like the fact that you've got sharpness throughout here on the thistle, I think it is, and on the butterflies themselves. And again, a plain old background here doesn't distract from the colours you've got at the butterflies and the thistle itself. So yeah, I think that's been captured well. And you can't see a catchlight in the eye, but I think you can be forgiven that in a butterfly, I think, because they're not very big. But apart from that, everything looks fine. So I'll hold that one back, please. They're amazing colour, aren't they? Oh, there's a polar bear.
Over there.
Polar bear. Yeah, captured in the star. I hope you weren't too close. And yeah, captured. Well, again, he's sort of looking at you, and you can imagine he's going to chase you if you're not careful. But yeah, and probably quite a difficult exposure with that snow and obviously the colour of the bear here. So I think, you know, you sort of kept the detail on the bear pretty well. And you've got a catchlight in the eye, which is even better. Again, you know, slightly softer, the bear at the back doesn't matter. You've got the sharpness on the nose and the face here, which I think is important here. Possibly it's a shame that it's sort of the areas, the right-hand side is a little bit, going a little bit too white. Distracts you slightly here, but I guess possibly it was the conditions that you had. But you say it all captured the sort of fierceness, I think, of the bears coming across here. So we're going to go a 15 on that one, please. Ah,
Going through the right channels.
right. There's a title for you, isn't it? And yeah, good old rain again. And, I don't know, it's something's broken down or something like that, but yeah. Yes, it's quite interesting. Although it's obviously quite an overcast day, you know, there's still lots of reflections and detail on the water, isn't there? And there's sort of different stages of water. You've got sort of almost static and moving and things like that. And yeah, I like the sort of colours of the autumn leaves against that water here, works quite well. And an interesting surround, again, quite soft colours. They kind of reflect in the water here as well. So quite a simple picture, but I think, you know, it works quite effectively here. So we'll hold that one back, please.
Amy.
Yeah, I think the first thing you notice is the sort of colour of the hair and that rather wonderful hat she's got, that green here, and they go together very well. And I like the way this sort of the sort of the furry bit of the coat and the hair frames the face here. And again, you know, I think she's quite happy to have a picture taken here with the picture. I think it's an outdoor picture. I think again the lighting's probably the right lighting. It's giving you the good skin tones here and giving the detail in the hair here as well. Again, background pretty much out of focus here. Possibly I'll crop a little bit off the right hand side again, just to make her stand out even more. But I think you sort of captured a moment in time there, and so I really sort of enjoyed the framing with the props of the hair and the sort of furry hood that you've got here. So we're going to go a 16 on that one, please. He's about to eat the girl, I think. I don't know. He obviously wants to be on the show.
Right, we'll go forward then.
Oh, right. Oh, there's our rugby players here, you know.
Breakaway.
Right. Who's going to have their bones broken first? Yeah, it's typical bug. It's probably perhaps local, something like that. And it's all the concentration is it, and the sort of competitiveness coming across here. The guy in the middle, he ain't going to let go, is he? He's gritting his teeth. His lips must be bleeding by the end of this. Looking at his expression here. But yeah, you've got the ones after him are determined to get him, and the one behind you always get one day. He's a bit hanging out a little bit. Well, should I join in or just stand there? I don't want to get hurt. Coming across in the picture here. Again, hint of the people in the background here. It's part of the sort of scene that you've got. And I know you can sort of half see their face. It doesn't matter too much. It doesn't distract from the main picture here. But yeah, it's lots of sort of fierce intensity and competition there, isn't there? So that one held back, please.
Left behind.
Right, I'm trying to work at it. Is it what it says? Is that some goggles or something? Over the clothing, not too sure. The baseball cap is thank you for telling me. Right. Yeah, it makes you wonder why they were playing there, doesn't it? It's a bit of a strange because normally baseball you're thinking it's sort of green like pitches, don't you? And cheering crowds and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of almost I don't know, see. Maybe they had a bad match and they threw it there to abandon it. Who knows? Yeah, that certainly sort of captured mode. It's almost going to be sunk under the sand soon, isn't it? And it's going that way. But there's still a sort of hint of what it was about, which I think works quite well. And I like the fact you sort of give the hints that it will go that way, and surrounding it with stones and shells and everything like that. And you sort of wonder what the story is behind it. Again, I think good lighting here, sort of lots of textures on the sand and on the hat itself. And it sort of comes across quite well, I think, in the picture here. Okay, we're going to go 15. No, We're going to go 16 on that one, please.
Trouble sleeping.
Right, meerkats, I think. Not meerkats, lemurs, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, they're things that don't hang about at all. They're immensely hard to photograph, and they obviously have these beautiful eyes, these beautiful orangey eyes here. And yeah, again, you know, we've got quite a lot of softness with the ones at the front here. But you can see obviously he's sleeping and he's not having much fun because the rest of them are clambering over him. But I like the fact you've included the sort of one in the background, just the head, and you've got the sharpness in the sort of eye with the cat's eye, sort of as to the picture here as well. Possibly taking that captivity here, always a bit of a challenge here. But you know, the background isn't distracting too much, and the quite the fact you've included sort of details of the thing that they're on. But I think it's important you've got this one at the back that's got more sharpness, just to sort of make him stand out against the rest here. But there is a story there. You can see that sort of in the picture. So we're going to go a 14 on that one, please.
Lovely river.
Oh, yeah, there's been a few of them, hasn't there? And I guess that's pretty more of a ruin by this finish. But isn't that horrible colour of that water? Sort of churned up brown mud and everything like that. And, but quite fascinating. And again, I think the shutter speed here is right. I think you didn't want to make it fluffy because you want to show the sort of drama is the wrong word, but I think you know what I mean. There's sort of fierceness of the water and the turbulence here. So I think this is right. I like the fact you've got these sort of static trees here in the foreground. I think that works here as well. And this sort of ruin just standing out against the water here. And again, you wonder how long it will be there, how long it will survive. But yeah, it's sort of a bit of indicative of what we're sort of suffering a bit at the moment. But yeah, I like the drama in it. So we'll hold that one back, please.
Suits you, sir.
This is an interesting one, isn't it? And yeah, just a really sort of narrow, almost letterbox shape. Sort of vertically, and I like the fact you've got these characters in the background, admiring themselves, sort of admiring, but they're sort of looking at the same time. There is sort of reflection of the jacket in the mirror, I think, works here as well. I suppose it's the point, you know, should the jacket at the front be pin sharp? It possibly would distract a little bit from the character, but you do get enough about it to tell what the story is about here. So I think you probably didn't need it. It's sort of between the way you think about it, I think. Again, handled the lighting well, kept the detail in here. And so I like the sort of way you've used the props to sort of frame the man here as well. So we're going to go. Oh, it's a hard one, this one. I'm going to hold him back. I'm going to hold him back.
Suda Bay War Cemetery.
Right, I think I've seen this place before actually, and quite stark, isn't it? And you know, stark but beautiful at the same time, with sort of setting behind here as well. Possibly a summer's day, something like, because you've got this quite overcast lighting, not overcast, quite strong lighting here. But again, you know, you've got detail on the sort of background here. I think again, if you had too much detail on the mountains behind, and I think it probably distracts from the main area at the front here, the impact of these graves here and these sort of memorial here. I like the fact you've got a figure in here as well. It sort of gives it a human element as well, sort of indicates what it's all about. So I think it's important to include that person in the picture here. So we're going to go a 15 on that one, please.
I think that's Gabrielle from Gabriel.
Favourite looks male to me. Yeah, again, interesting. Gabriel, yeah. Yeah, interesting. It's quite stark again, and you know, and interesting use of lighting here. I like the sort of the tonal range here. The sort of the almost slightly white on the right, and then sort of gradually fading onto the left hand. So I think the fact you've got the water in here as well sort of enhances the face and the sort of texture of the face here. I know the sort of cheekbone is almost going to darkness. I think, you know, because you've got the water on, I think it works quite well. Again, you know, we don't need any more of the bottom. We just think it's been cut off at the right place. It's been cropped a little bit at the top. Again, I don't think it really matters because you've got this effect of water coming across in the picture here. So we're going to go a 16 on that one, please.
Cambridge Cycle.
Oh, Cambridge Cycle. Yeah, see, cycles again, isn't it? Yeah. Again, possibly an overcast kind of day here. Yeah, you've got the sort of the architecture, haven't you? Rather attractive here. Again, quite difficult lighting, I think, with the bits of light in the window, but we've handled it well. And again, we get a hint there's something going on behind the building here. I think the red stands out well against that sort of quite neutral background here. And although you can sort of see the face, you feel they're kind of like just happy to be cycling. They're kind of perhaps they're delivering something like that, but you feel they're kind of part of the scene here. They sort of fit in with the picture here that you've got. I suppose you could argue, did you need the whole of the building here? Possibly you could crop it, but then you're sort of cropping perhaps the windows at the bottom. So it's a bit of a balancing act here. But yeah, enjoy the sort of balance between the two here going across here. So we'll go a 14 on that one, please.
Very funny.
Yeah, these two enjoying themselves, aren't they? Obviously, possibly a summer day, judging by the clothes here. Yeah, they're having a bit of a laugh. And I know the sort of faces are sideways. I say you certainly get that impression they are enjoying themselves here. They're quite difficult lighting here, quite challenging. But I think we've managed to, keep the skin tones as much as we can. I don't mind the shadows going across here. It looks like he's in a dodge him or something, to be honest, sitting here as well. Like the sunglasses, they're well cool, aren't they? And yeah, again, you sort of captured the reflections in rather well. You've got the reflections of them, haven't you, as well, or her in it. And so that adds the interest here as well. Pretty the background is slightly distracting, the white and the black here. Don't quite know, unless you sort of tone everything right down to make it perhaps similar here. I think that's probably quite a lot of work, quite challenging, but it distracts slightly from the characters here. But nevertheless, it's a sort of great moment of sort of candid photography here. So we're going to go 15 on that one.
A blustery pier.
Yeah, well, it's a good excuse to have them, isn't it? And yeah, you're brave to walk them. Maybe you stood at the top of the pier and didn't go too far down. And yeah, distinct lack of people, isn't it, on this one here? And again, quite rainy, I think, possibly. A lot of water going. And yeah, and it sort of captured that texture on the wood pier here, isn't it? And the kind of fact you haven't got any people. It's just about the elements here coming across here. And I think in this case, possibly you've chosen to slow the shutter speed down on the water to sort of give a effects of perhaps movement, things like that, sort of turbulence things that in the picture here. So again, it's one of those things. You have it very dramatic, very sharp, or do you give it this dreamy effect? But you still get the feeling that it's quite blustery, quite fierce coming. But even though I say you've got this soft effect on the water. Possibly sky, I'm looking at it and thinking you've got it quite dark here, and I wonder if it's been sort of filled in slightly. It looks slightly odd at the top compared to the rest of the sky, but again, you have got this kind of greyish sky which goes with the sort of the rest of the scene here. So overall, the impact is quite strong. I'm going to go a 15 on that one, please.
Hoverfly on popping.
Right, yeah, again, hoverflies don't bother to hang about, and they are very small, so quite hard to capture. Again, I think we've done well with this one. We've got sharpness in it here. We can see through the wings here, I think works. I like the fact it's sort of in the flower here. And again, the sort of centre of the poppy is quite big against the hoverfly here, but it provides quite a good interest, contrast here as well. Possibly after all, it becomes a little bit over dominating the hoverfly itself. But again, that's part of the flower and part of what he's sort of engaging with. So again, it's sort of a personal thought about it. But nevertheless, it's been done well. So we're going to go 16 on that one, please. 16.
1883 house, 1983 film.
That's a title and a half, isn't it? Yeah, again, it reminds me of the old Wild West, doesn't it? You can imagine someone coming out there with, a gunslinger and all the rest of it, It gives that kind of impression here. Yeah, again, black and white works, doesn't it? It sort of goes, doesn't it? It looks like an old building, so black and white would kind of go with it here. Yeah, again, an overcast kind of day, but we've got, again, detail in the wood that we've got. And I think, I think it's probably the right balance here. We've got the windows, which just gives us an interest on the side of the house, but we don't want masses and masses in here because we want to sort of enjoy the railings here. I can sort of see bits and things on the railings itself. I can't 100% make out what they are, but again, they sort of add an interest to the picture here. Possibly you need a character just to sort of give it a sort of a bit to the story here. But yeah, as an architectural shot, texture and lighting, I think it works quite well. So we're going to go a 13 on that one, please. Oh, this is
London, an alternate view.
right. This is a sort of drunk. This is a drunk view, isn't it? And I do recognise it's St Paul's there, so and a bus and yeah, the River Thames here as well. Yeah, it looks like a sort of a bit of movement with the camera, something like that, and then you kind of giving it a kind of picture effect here as well. But you know, I think it works quite well. I mean, you can still distinguish the main buildings here, and I think the fact you put St Paul's pretty much in the middle makes it quite a distinctive landmark, and so you can sort of focus on that and then kind of enjoy the rest of it here as well. Quite like these abstract figures here as well. I think they work quite well, and they almost kind of like float into the river here as well, don't they? And again, I think the kind of letterbox shape, I think, works on the picture here as well. It's a slightly kind of a nuclear kind of sky, I would say, that's going to sort of happen here. But the whole thing is slightly surreal, but you know, it works together quite well. So, should we hold that? Yeah, we will hold that one back.
Stonehenge
Oh.
sunset.
Well, where else would you be? Yeah, before they stick a tunnel under it, as they say. But yeah, catch the lovely, isn't it? Beautiful lighting on good old Stonehenge, and it's certainly brought out the shape of the rocks and things like that. And I guess it's a big mystery about why it was there. Quite a lighting on the grass here. I know there's a lot of it here, but I think the light has sort of picked up the grasses and things like that, and given it some interest in it here as well. I think having the people in, they're not too obtrusive. They do give you a sense of scale here, and you can kind of sort of see how big that is, Stonehenge, against those people here as well. Sky's quite interesting. Again, you know, you might think, should I crop the cloudy bits off at the top and just sort of make it slightly more letterbox, the Stonehenge stands out even more. But on the other hand, you know, against that sky, it has somewhere to go into it as well. So again, it's the kind of thing you can experiment with. So we're going to go a 16 on that one, please.
Okay, we've got 13 held.
Oh my good, really. Eek. Right. Okay, right.
Quick run through.
Quick run through. I think I've made my life hard here.
Mhm.
Right, okay. Yeah, right, okay. Yep. Oh. Yep. Right, in my brain, I think. Is that the last one?
Yeah.
Okay, so come back to the beginning again. I'm going to gradually eliminate them. Right, okay, next one, please. We're going to go a 16 on that one. I know I held it back, but sort of looking at it on the own, it's a 16. Hold that one back again, please. Next one. And the next one. Yeah, captured very well. Again, 17 on that one. 16 on that one. Yeah, 16 on this one.
16.
16, yeah. Yeah, not 60. I should go down well, shouldn't it? I'll be invited back every time. I go 60 each time. It doesn't want to play ball again, does it?
Right, we've done that.
Yeah.
No.
No, we haven't done about five. Oh God. Next one, please. I think it's an interesting picture here, so we're going to give this one a 16 as well. I sound like a record, sorry. Yeah, next one, please. Yeah, sorry, 16 on that one. Yeah, I definitely sound like a record here. Okay, is that
Suits you, sir.
okay, next one? This is where it gets hard. And we're going to go 17 on that one. Right, so we're gradually cutting them down. Back to the top. Next one, next one. Okay, what's the next one?
Sacred Eye, this is
Oh,
sunset.
God, I made laugh hard here. Okay, next one. Next one. We're going to go an 18 on that one, please.
Too much to them.
Okay.
awarenesses,
Yeah, okay. What's the next one?
which is
We're gonna go 19 on that one. There isn't really much between these ones here, I'm to be honest with you. I think we're gonna go an 18 on that one actually.
red one, yeah?
Okay, next one. So we've got, how many have we got left? 4?
Three.
3. Oh, okay. I think, what's the next one? Yeah. Okay, the last one is rugby, isn't it? Yeah. I think they're all gonna get 20s.
Peter.
Yeah, what was that? I forgot what I saw. The rugby one was 20,
Yeah.
so. Reflections, Savio Tissy. Taking argues at sunset, Anita Smith.
As well. We're not going to source sales.
No, the first. Somebody got the right.
Right. Super. Well, lights up. Thank you very much, Jill. Are you still?
I don't know.
Wonderful. Thank you ever so much
That's all right,
for
pleasure.
your time this evening. Yeah, some very good comments, I think, but I'm not going to say everything. I'm going to hand over to John, who's going to give a vote of thanks, basically.
Yeah, just like to say from the committee and the club,
Yeah.
really appreciate your feedback. It's come again.
Yes, I will if I'm the to do.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you ever so much again. We will do the scores because of the software and stuff, and we're trying to just get a few things sorted out. All the scores are going to be added up and added to the newsletter for on Sunday. So we just want to make sure we get them absolutely perfectly
I'll have a
right.
look at it.
Yeah.
Remind
So-
myself.
So thank you ever so much. Thank you to all the photographers tonight, and congratulations. I've got some definite favourites in there that I've seen this evening. I think they've been wonderful. So I hope you've been inspired by them. Thank you. Yes, indeed.
What if the score's out of 20? What is it made out of?
Is that 20?
Yeah, why 20? And what makes a 20? As in, is there like something about lighting, composure, something else, all groups of 5, and then how do you score it? Yes, is my question.
Every judge is different.
Oh, I think so.
So actually, the same review, another usually different judge, different scores. The judges can hear opinion. But many things that make it up. How they perceive it, the actual subject matter, comparison of it, images. Effectively, the answer no specific criteria. Better than that's going to be more.
Yeah, so it's not like categorised like
No.
four categories of 5.
No, really. No.
Right, okay.
Just look at the picture overall,
So,
and then sort of I probably look at the elements to see how it holds together, but I don't. So this is a fixed idea in my head, and this is oh,
no,
you'd be prejudging it, you
I
can't do
don't know
that.
why 20 is a bit of a round number.
Oh, you can't do that as well.
Well, for me, yeah, 10.
Yeah, some clubs will do it at 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, some do it.
Okay. So, cool.
It's a perfect thing for it, you know.
It is. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. I know it's a little bit late. We'll see you next week for Sarah Kelman. Remember your prints as well. Thank you. Thank you. I love your reflection. Oh, I love that you did that. It's good though. Very good.
Thank you.